All right, it look like we Tawab. All right, 1 second. Let me make sure to check the messages. All right, clap it up. Shalom. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group or organization. And what we do is teach the truth according to the Bible. And this evening is the Tuesday night Brotherhood class. Every Tuesday we get it in with Brotherhood, so brothers and sisters can learn the, the importance of brotherhood. Something I can't stress enough because I teach this class every Tuesday. It was something that I struggled with in the world personally because I was like the type of guy that would just like I cut you off without warning. If you was the type of person I wasn't rocking with, if I wasn't feeling you, I wouldn't even give you an explanation. I just stop answering my phone. I spin you. You understand? I just keep spinning you around until you get tired of me spinning you around, and eventually you'll depart. Like I was that type of cat. I didn't deal with a whole lot of people. I wasn't a people person, but coming into this truth, you are going to be around different brothers and sisters from different ways of life, from different ways and different, from all different ways of life. You know what I mean? You're going to be around people that you normally wouldn't want to be around, or you don't, find interesting. You know what I mean? And if that's the case, there's no sweat in it. But you have to be a brother. You have to fight that because that could be a demon on you, or you could just be the type of person who just isn't used to being around different people. You know what I mean? What do they call those type of people? Like I believe the correct term is like some brothers and sisters might be like introverts. If that's the correct way, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm using that word incorrectly. But like, people that want to just be by themselves, they not real open to being in groups and being with other people. Here, like General Muhammad says, like, we gonna be in your business because now your concerns are my concerns. That doesn't mean let me scoot this a little bit closer, scoot this camera a little bit closer. That doesn't mean that like I'm gonna just be popping up to your crib unexpectedly. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean I'm just gonna, I'm trying to know everything about you. Like, hey, Aqua, you know what? Did you and your rib just get through making love? Like, it ain't gonna be nothing like that, nothing weird like that. You understand? They may do that in the Sakari or the IUIC, I don't know. But in the I.S.U.P.K, we just check on our brothers and sisters to make you sure you tawab, which means good. You know what I mean? Make sure you straight. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? So like you give a little of yourself up when you deal with other people. That's being brotherly. Somebody get in your car, you know what I mean, and ask you like, what you listening to? Like what hot artists you listen to? Whatever you listen to, whatever you listen to, go ahead, change the station. You know what I mean? Give common courtesy. Like we have lost that as a nation of people. And if you see the title, where's the title at? Blacks and Hispanics division is limited. It's limited. Like we divide ourselves. And I forgot to send you this article. If you could, Baba Kasha, Akalawan, just Google like the first gangs. Like when did the gang culture start? I forgot. It was an article I was going to send you, but I'm using my phone, so I
I'm
can't send
also
it to you. Salakia?
Slucky, so I am also using my phone, so I can't go out of the app unless it's gonna send me out of the app.
Okay, Salakia. Well, no sweat. Let me get it. I'm gonna look it up on my laptop. I don't have my laptop on. It's right here though. Give me 1 second. But like I was saying, brothers and sisters, blacks and Hispanics division is limitless. Like when what I mean by limitless is like there is there is like we would divide ourselves like for any and every reason. For any and every reason. Think about it. Think about what I'm saying and why I'm saying that. Because according to the Bible, and we're gonna read it again, we gonna read this precept every week. Go to Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1, while my laptop is loading. Go to Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. But the things that keeps us divided, like, is limitless. Like we in every aspect of life, blacks and Hispanics are separated and we're divided. And that is Satan, and that's our oppressors' agenda is to keep us divided and separated. Like I remember being locked up, and like I didn't even think about it in my younger days. Like I just thought, like, okay, I grew up on this side. I grew up in the 50s, so naturally, I'm just thinking this is like where I'm from, and this is who I am. I'm thinking like that's my culture, being from the 50s, being from a neighborhood that I don't own. No black people owns any of the neighborhoods that we grow up in. But for some reason, I have it in my mind that I'm from this particular place, and the people that's down the street 10 blocks over or 3 blocks over are the enemies or the ops, simply because they're from a different number street or a different name of a street. That's how destroyed I was, and that's how destroyed blacks and Hispanics are here in America, because we have been indoctrinated with our oppressors' philosophies, with our oppressors' culture, to think that the ops is someone that looks like you, who can relate to you in every way, who gets oppressed just like you, who goes to prison just like you, whose mother was on crack just like yours. We all share a common interest, but because of a block, because of a number of a street, we will unalive each other. We will shoot each other. We will destroy each other's lives as if our lives don't mean nothing, simply because I'm from a different block, simply because I'm from a different street. Kalawan, does that sound familiar to you?
Colonel Khan, sir.
Tell me how they get down there in St. Louis. How they get down there in the Louvre.
I
It
think
look like,
they,
look, I can tell. Look, Kalawan, this is a good brother right here. I'm about to mess with you, brother. It's some brotherly though. But Colin, what was you down there in the Louvre doing? You was down there banging out.
I was banging, sir.
You was you throwing up? It looked like you was throwing up them bees.
No,
Look, see, he about to
it's,
get unbrotherly already because I
it's
said he
all
was
the
throwing up
same.
the bees.
It's all the same, sir.
But break it down for me. What was y'all doing down there in St. Louis? Because St. Louis, if you don't know, St. Louis is one of the most dangerous cities in America, if not the dangerous city in America. And I love St. Louis. Every time I go, I get a lot of love. But that's even another division right there. Me being from Kansas City and him being from St. Louis, we wouldn't have seen eye to eye.
Colonel Khan, sir.
Simply because we're from two different cities, but we both black. We both can relate to incidents like Mike Brown. We both can relate to the police harassment. We both can relate to the drugs that's in our community, plaguing our community. We can relate to all that. But the line gets drawn because he's from St. Louis and I'm from Kansas City. But let me break it down for me, y'all. How y'all get down there in the loop?
Well, sir, I used to think I was a Crip. That's how I used to think. That's my carnal minded self. That old man used to think he was throwing up the seas and repping it by the zone.
Repping it by the zone, throwing up the C's, repping it by the zones. Look, as every black here in America, and Hispanic and Native Indian here in America. And
Colonel Khan, sir.
shout out to the sisters tuning in. I can't see the live on the Facebook, so if you're on Facebook, if you want to jump over to YouTube, I can see the comments on YouTube, but I can't see the comments on Facebook right now because I don't have my other device like I normally do. But you know what? Hold on, I might can from my laptop. If my laptop don't be tripping with me, my laptop want to be separate from me too. The laptop want to set trip with me too. A color one. Well, it was made by a oppressor, so that ain't no wonder. Let me see if I can see the live, so I can see the brothers and sisters on so I can see the brothers and sisters on YouTube. I mean on Facebook. Salaki. Laptop on the section with me too, okay, look, I see it, but I don't see the comments. But like I said, if you're on Facebook and you leave a comment, it's a chance that I may not see it. So Salakia for that. But on YouTube, I can see all the comments. And Salakia again, shout out to all the sisters tuning in, all the brothers and sisters tuning in on Facebook. I see y'all. Shalom Yahweh Shemal Lathabah Shem Yahweh Shah. Now, where'd my screen just go? There we go. I see all the sisters checking in, tuning in to class on YouTube. Most High in Christ. All right. So you said it down there in the Lou of Calawan, you was throwing up big C's. Was you throwing up the C like this? You was throwing up big C's. You understand me?
My whole neighborhood where I'm from, they was I'm from a place. I used to be from a place called Pagedale.
Pageville.
Pagedale.
Pagedale, Salakia. And in Pagedale, I mean, what's some of the things that you saw in Pagedale? Growing up in Pagedale, how was it? I mean, did you see the police harass black people?
Yeah, I seen it all. We had in our neighborhood, we had like a whole little war with the police, a whole little shootout, and in surrounding neighborhoods too. My big homie who I used to, you know how it is when you coming up, you always got somebody up over you, that's kind of like a big brother to you. But he his brother, him and his brother robbed the gas station. And my big homie shot the man in the face who owned the gas station and went to jail for a gang of years. But he ain't died though. The man ain't died.
See? So you seen the same type of curses that we live through, that all blacks and Hispanics that are living with currently in St. Louis.
Conson.
So let me ask you this. When you listen to rap music, right? When you
Conson.
listen to rap music, even if it's someone from a different city or a different state, like say you listen, what name a rapper that you like, that you listen to, that you may listen to. Or
I think
even if you listened to him back in the day when you was throwing up them big C's, who was somebody you listened to?
I listened back in the day. I think I listened to more. I listened to more Tupac than anything.
You listen to Tupac. And Tupac, for the most part, represented California, right?
Conson.
I mean, in the cats in California are notoriously known for what? Gang banging, being oppressed, just like you being oppressed in St. Louis, just like I'm being oppressed in Kansas City. But for some reason, they don't get along in California. We don't get along in St. Louis or in Kansas City. But
Conson.
we can relate to the music that is being pushed. Would you agree to that?
Conson.
So how is it you can listen to Tupac, someone who represents California, and he may not be throwing up big C's. He may throw something else up. Or, somebody from St. Louis can listen to King Von, you know what I mean? Or Lil Durk. How can they relate to the music, but because he's from Chicago or California and I'm from Kansas City and you from St. Louis, we can't get along? How is that possible?
I guess everybody just going off of that dark vibe that relating to that dark vibe, to the darkness of the music.
The dark vibe of the music?
Right, Conson.
Explain that, the dark vibe of the music. What is a dark
And
vibe?
how we would say it, I guess, is that that familiar spirit, that same type of spirit that you would get, um, the same type of spirit that's giving you the character that you are, resonates in that music that we listen to. And so we all can relate to that music, but we just drawing out what resonates to us individually. And we all might have that same spirit inside of us that's making us feel the way we feel.
Okay, you saying something heavy. You said we all can relate to that music. We all can relate to that music, even though your op might be a blood and you a crip. Even though your op might be a vice lord and you a GD or a BD. Even though I grew up in the 50s and my ops is from the 30s. But we all can relate to the same music. Why is that? How can we all relate to the same music when the music that we listening to, the men or the brothers that's rapping, potentially can be ops as well?
Carnal concept.
How does that make sense? To me, that sounds like an agenda. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to sound like a conspiracy theorist. I'm not trying to say like I'm not trying to blame it on the Illuminati. You know what I mean? But there are high powers in the world. We do have a oppressor in this world that has an agenda to tear down blacks and Hispanics.
Carnal
And the
concept.
sooner we can realize we have a common enemy, we can start coming together and fighting the spirit. In the spirit, we can start fighting in the spirit. Keeping God's laws would destroy the oppression that our enemies tried to use to destroy us. Would you agree to that, Kalawan?
Carnal con, I believe, sir, that that's what's really going on. That depression is uh um kind of like when two people they in a cell with each other. They never met each other in their life, but somehow in that cell, they both feel like they the same person.
Mm. You said in that cell, but do they really feel like they're the same person? Or do they just know that they're in prison together? Because if blacks and Hispanics, that would be showing empathy, right? We both can relate to each other's situation, but for some reason we don't get along in prison. If you put a crip in the if you put a crip in the blood in the county in LA County, they're going to stab each other.
Right.
They're gonna catch a fade. They're gonna sock each other out, beat each other up, and that's gonna be that. So if we could relate to each other simply by us both being inmates, being incarcerated, then we wouldn't be fighting. We wouldn't be trying to unalive each other. We wouldn't be destroying each other's lives and punching on each other. You understand what I'm saying?
Carnal concept.
So go to Zephaniah chapter 3, 2, verse 1.
Carnal concept. I have that.
And I'm trying to pull up this article. I'm gonna try to pull it up while you reading that.
You ready, sir?
Yeah, Khan.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Ye gather together, O nation not desired.
Read it again.
Gather yourselves together. Ye gather together, O nation not desired.
See, the Bible says, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. Now, think about the people that are in prison, since we're talking about prison. Think about the Crips that are in prison. Think about the Bloods that are in prison. Think about the Northaniels, the Serenos. Think about all these brothers that are incarcerated in these gangs. Would you say that these people in prison are desirable or not desirable? What you say, Kalawan?
I would say they not desirable, sir.
Why would you say that?
I was one of them. I know the feeling. I know what it feel like.
So you know what it feel like to be in that cell.
Khan, sir.
Be stuck in the box.
Khan, sir.
Eating Lord knows what. You don't know what the hell you eat. Look, I didn't even look at my tray. I would just put the food in my mouth, chew, and swallow it. You understand me? I wouldn't even look at the tray. I would
Khan,
just
sir.
chew, swallow, and that be that. And go do some push-ups and some burpees and try to be as healthy as I can be. Try to, you know, look, just trying to survive. You understand? But the point being is that blacks and Hispanics are more incarcerated than any other people. And that's not by coincidence. That's because you have an oppressor that wants to keep us divided, that wants to keep you incarcerated, that wants to keep you a slave, and ultimately wants to keep you from serving your power, the Most High God in the Bible. That's what we got to realize. The sooner that we can realize that, like the brother just brought out in Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1, matter of fact, read that again.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Ye gather together, O nation not desired.
O nation not desired. Keep reading.
Verse 2. Before the decree, bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord come before thee. Hold on, this thing ain't. Give me 1 second. Before the fierce anger of the Lord come before thee. So the Bible is telling us, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians specifically, that we ought to come together. And that's why it's important that we have to start realizing everything that's keeping us separated. And it's really, it seems like a lot that keeps us separated, but it's ultimately just one thing keeping us separated, and that's our oppressor. You understand? Our oppressor has done a clever job of making us think that we shouldn't be together. Whether it's gangs, whether it's a block, whether it's a city, whether it's a state, whether it's the way you talk, whether it's a football team, whether it's a baseball team, whether it's a church. I mean, the list can, like the rabbit hole goes deeper, Kalawan. I don't know if you're aware, but think about it. We will stay divided for damn near everything. Any and everything. Oh, he's too light. Oh, he's too dark. Oh, he's too this. Oh, he's too that. You see what I'm saying?
Khan, sir, one of those main things would be, as I experience, being too happy around people who too down in their spirit. You know, a lot of people who going through a lot, they don't want people that's happy around them, or either they don't want you to be happy around them at all.
They don't want people to be happy. Oh, you
Around
talking
them.
about the oppressor? Or you talking about other brothers
I'm
in
talking
general?
about other brothers. When you around brothers that's going through it, they don't like the energy that you give when you in a good spirit, when you in a good mood.
Well, I mean, some brothers may be like that, but you know, that's why it's even more important that we come together. Because if you got a brother, like say if you hit me up, right? I may be having a good day. You know what I mean? I may be having a good day. Um, I'm off the slave. The house is in, everything's in order. Kids doing good. Whatever. I just might not be having a bad day. I may have just got a raise, or I might have just got some money or something. Whatever. And then
Concept.
like I run into you. I bump into you like, damn, what's up? We dap it up. And then you like, oh man. I'm like, you good? Oh yeah, I'm cool, man. It ain't nothing. You know what I mean? That's how oftentimes we are. We're passive a lot of times, right? You may be passive. And I might just be like, shit, that's on him. Like, all right, bro, I see you. I get at you. I'll holler at you later. You know what I mean? And
Colonel
I get
Carter.
up out of there. You know what I mean? I wiggle up out of there like, look, Colin, I don't know what's up with that nigga. I'm cool. He ain't about to mess up my day. That's how we are when we Christian. You see what I'm saying? But we're supposed to be brothers towards each other. You know what I mean? We're supposed to have that affection towards each other. I notice there's something wrong with you. Like, you twabak, you good? And you be like, yeah, it's nothing, man. I'm like, you know you can holler at me, like, what's up? And you can tell me what's going on with you. It could be a situation you going through something with your rib. It could be you just lost your slave. It could be anything. You could have lost someone that you love. So being as brothers, we supposed to have each other's interests. We're not supposed to just be, oh man, whatever. That's on that nigga. You see
Colonel
what I'm
Carter.
saying? We're not supposed to be like that. We're supposed to have affection because what the I.S.U.P.K teaches is that brotherhood is a weapon. And if you don't use the weapon of brotherhood, you will get defeated by Satan. You
Colonel
can't
Carter.
you can't box Satan one-on-one. You understand? Like you can't win. You can't do it. And let that be a lesson to a lot of you Israelites that just think you can, have a whole Passover in your living room by yourself, eating a lamb hoagie sandwich or whatever you do. I don't know what y'all do. But you can't defeat Satan by yourself, man. It takes brotherhood for this. And Christ came to show us how to have brotherhood. And that's
Colonel
why it's such a
Carter.
big thing. And that's why it's such a glorious thing to have brotherhood. I learned to love brotherhood the correct way. Oh, believe me, brotherhood in the world. Oh, yeah, I had brotherhood in the world. I'm trying to drop a sack in your hand. All right, bro, I'm gonna help you get on your feet. I'm gonna drop this sack on your hand, but you know I'm gonna need some interest when the first of the month come. I'm gonna give you 500, but I need 700 back. I'm quick to be a brother like that. Carnal, wicked, destroying my own people. I was quick to be a brother like that, but in righteousness, you had to find that because I had to learn how to put away the old man. The sooner we can learn how to put away the old man, all the devices, all the things that are keeping us divided, it's out of there. I don't care how many games they create to try to divide us. I don't care how much propaganda they push to try to divide us. I don't care about the colorism. I don't care about the whatever. Because they constantly doing it to keep us divided. You see what I'm saying?
Colonel Carter.
Okay, I got this article just on the gangs alone. Because when you look up gangs, they're going to start listing all the street gangs that are in America. When gangs didn't start with us, you know that, right, at Calawan? When you
Colonel
think of
Carter.
gangs, what's the first thing that pop in your mind? The Crips.
Colonel Carter.
I'm pretty sure every black person, when they think of a gang, the first thing they think about is the Crips with the brother, what's his name, Tukey Williams?
Colonel Carter.
Look, I know that's your OG, but he's not the first gangbanger.
Colonel
You
Carter.
understand? Monster Cody, Tukey Williams, they not the first gangbangers. The only reason we started gangbanging is because we were being oppressed. And originally, the Crips wasn't a gang that started to, go to have an adversary as another black man. That was already going on. We didn't need gangs for that. You see what I'm saying? We
Colonel
didn't need
Carter.
gangs for that. That was already going on. That just spread it. And then you got more brothers and sisters divided because of the gang, which we were already divided anyway. You understand what I'm saying? So OG Tukey Williams, didn't they unalive that brother? I believe they unalive that brother. He
All
tried to go back, and correct and right his wrongs, you know, which I commend any brother for that, him, Larry Hoover. But, our oppressor is wicked. And unfortunately, they did crimes because this truth is the only thing that's going to save blacks and Hispanics.
Colonel Carter.
That's the only thing that's going to save us. But yeah, OG Tukey, when you look up gangs, you think that's the first thing is the Crips. When in reality, let me read this real quick. We're gonna read about the American Mafia. Okay, let me ask you a question. And now look, I ain't trying to glorify your past, but when did the Crips start?
You talking about with Tukey or period?
Officially, when did they create the Grand Gang, the Crips?
Kind concert. This was like this should have been like in the late 60s.
In the late 60s, the Crips was invented. All right. So if the Crips was invented in the late 60s, all right, how is the Crips or black people in general the face of gangs and the face of violence when you have the American Mafia or the Cosa Nostra that was founded in the 1860s? You wanna elaborate on that with me? Can you help me out? Because I know I'm a little slow. I could be a little slow sometimes, but it sounds like to me that 1860 is way before 1960. It's damn near 100 years. It is 100 years.
Just glorifying our oppressor, sir. Another
Get
form
a
of
brother a hand. That's exactly what we do. When you or I or any brother or sister is in a game, is rapping about a lifestyle that is unclean to the Most High God, whether it be sisters being whores, whether it be brothers thinking that they big meat. Guess what? Big meat is just copying off the white man. That's a white man's life. BMF, that's white people's lives. I know we talented and we make everything sound good, and they know that. But that's why they use us, because the Bible says that we are the salt of the earth. We're the salt of the earth. So we make everything better. Whatever we touch, whatever we do, whatever we put our hands on, we make it better. But the things that we glorify, the things that keeps us divided, is the culture of our oppressor.
final concept.
You understand what I'm saying? So the sooner we realize that, we could put away these unclean things that are unclean to the Most High God. And if we don't, you just read in Zephaniah 2:1. Read verse 2 again. Read verse 2 again for me, Baba Kasha.
Final concept. Verse 2. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Look, we better get it together, because contrary to popular belief, the Lord is not always happy. The Lord is not always pleased. The Lord has different emotions just like you and I. So it's going to be a day where his anger, he's just going to allow his anger to be unleashed, for lack of a better word. And if you think I'm lying, you better ask for extra. We can learn from that brother, and that's not me shaming what happened to the brother. But prior to him blowing off his fingers, he was glorifying what? Doing the same thing what happened to him, to someone else. We never know when the judgment of the Most High God is going to come upon us. We take grace for granted because of Christianity, because of the Christian church. We shouldn't take grace. And a lot of times we don't even know what the hell grace is. We don't even know what the grace is. We just think grace is something like a fairy. When you Christian, you believe every verse in the Bible, a fairy did it. Or like the Tooth Fairy or Tinkerbell. That's how I think a Christian's mind thinks like that. It's like, when they read the Bible, I just feel like they got a fairy in their mind raving a wine, making just weird things pop up in their mind. I don't know, I can't understand it no more, but you get what I'm saying? It's like they just think like children. They think like children, like how Michael Jackson did when he said he was Peter Pan. Like that's how I think Christians think.
Kamikaze.
But, however, the fierce anger of the Lord will come upon us. And give me that one verse. It's in Revelation, if you can remember it. While you looking for it, it's come out of her, my people. Come out of her. You know what I'm talking about?
I do, sir.
If you can find that verse, get it for me. I know it's in Revelation. So I'm gonna read this. Hold on, that's 164 years ago. The Costa Nostra. Okay, let me read this. Allies. Sicilian Mafia. All right, let me read this real quick. The American Mafia, commonly referred to in North America as the Italian American Mafia, the Mafia or the mob. Now, how many times have you heard this, the Mafia or the mob, in some Negro song? We didn't heard this all through the rap music, especially what in the 90s and the 2000s music. Remember Master P, he talking about he the last dime. Remember that? I think I was in middle
Kamikaze.
school when that album came out. You have tons of rappers who name themselves after mob members. Noriega, Capone. You understand what I'm saying? So we're copying their culture because we think it's cool. We think it's lit to be a gangster, when in reality, that's just simply not your culture. The only real gangsters is in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General Yohanan. That's what you need to know. And I ain't talking about gangsters like we repping some type of flag. The only thing we rep is the Lord. And we come together under the Lord. And we do the will of the Lord. That's all. The term,
Salakia,
oh, go ahead, Doc.
Salakia, sir. I know which verse you're talking about, but I'm unable to pinpoint it.
Okay, no sweat. The term Italian Mafia and Italian Mob apply to these U.S. based organizations, as well as the separate yet related Sicilian Mafia or other organized crime groups in Italy, or ethnic Italian crime groups in other countries. These organizations are often referred to by its members as Cosa Nostra, Italian pronunciation, our thing or thing, this thing of ours, and by the American government as Las Costa Nostra. The organization's name is derived from the original mafia of Cosa Nostra, the Sicilian mafia, with American mafia originally referring simply to mafia groups from Sicily operating in the United States. Now, how much crime do you remember? Like they did tons of crimes. It was, of course, uh, way before we were born. But that's all you knew when you watched those old mob movies, the Godfather, whatever mob movie you watch, Casino. They all they did was what they call it. All they did was whack people all day. Am I lying?
Kamikaze.
All they did was whack their enemies because they were being oppressed and they were being poor. So they tried to figure out a way to get some money, just like any nation. But when black people do it, not to say that we should be doing any crimes to try to get money, but now we're the face of gangster. Now we're the face of crime. Now we're the face of the mob. We're the face of all the negative things when the mafia, they took all their drug money and extortion money and all the millions and billions that they made off of crime, and now they have businesses. Was it any crime bosses in St. Louis like the mafia and the mob, any Italians that you know for sure that was probably in the gang and now they have thriving businesses today?
Salakia, sir, I do not, but I know we do have some Italian restaurants that's been around for like since the beginning of St. Louis.
Since the beginning of St. Louis.
Colonel Concert, we got a few Italian restaurants out south that's been there since St. Louis existed.
And how'd they get so far ahead?
Colonel Concert, I don't put it past them.
They got ahead. They got ahead in life from the crimes that they committed. All the assassinations that they did on their ops. All the things that we glorify, all the things that we rap about, the Italian mafia was already doing it. They were gangsters. You see what I'm saying? Here we are rapping about it damn near 200 years later, and they running businesses. And what's happening to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? Our ass is going to jail. We going to jail for the pettiest crimes. If you a felon, you going to jail for 5 years if you're around a bullet. Am I lying? You better not get caught being around a bullet.
Colonel Concert.
Because what we do, right, we copy their lifestyle. And because, matter of fact, drop that real quick and go to Psalms chapter 147, 19 and 20. And I got a bunch of other precepts I want to get to too. We're going to go over. Go to Psalms 147, 19 and 20. You understand? So because we try to live that lifestyle as a gangster, we try to be American, we get punished. They don't get punished. They don't get punished. And if you ever wonder why they don't get punished, how we get punished, it's because the Lord told us not to be like these heathens. That's why. Salakia. I'm checking the comments. All right. Hey, it kicked me out my Facebook for some reason on my laptop. You got that?
Colonel Concert, you said 147, 19 and 20?
Con.
Colonel Concert, I do have it.
All right, go ahead and read it.
The book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Verse 20. He has not dealt so with any nation.
He is
As
not what?
he has not dealt so with any nation.
Go back to the beginning. Go back to the beginning.
He showed his word unto Jacob, his
So the Bible
statutes.
says he showed his word unto Jacob. He showed his word unto Jacob. So he showed the word to Jacob. And who is Jacob? Jacob was one of our forefathers. You understand? Jacob is a descendant of Abraham. So if you know the Bible, like the brothers and the sisters in I.S.U.P.K know that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is family. You understand? So he showeth his word unto Jacob. He showeth his word. The word is this Bible. The word is this book. The word is the things how we supposed to conduct our lives and live our lives. But because we've been oppressed for so long, because we thought it was better to serve other gods, because we want to eat shrimp, pork, crab, and lobster, because we want to be thugs, we want to be drug dealers, our sisters want to be thots and Marilyn Monroe's or Marilyn Monroe's, whatever that oppressor is. Listen, the Lord ain't dealing with none of that. The Lord ain't dealing with none of that. So in order to get back on the Lord's good side, we have to start back listening to the word. We have to start cleaning ourselves. We have to start trying to live a righteous life. You should try to live your life so righteous that eventually you become perfect. You understand? And the I.S.U.P.K is a perfect place to become perfect because you have brothers and sisters who are like-minded, who want the same thing. Don't allow different little odds or different little battles, a little like little bullshit to keep you, off track. You got to stay on track. Don't allow that. But we got to focus on the bigger picture. We got to focus on this kingdom. The kingdom is the only thing that should matter. I know it's hard in this kingdom because this kingdom is rough. You got to work all damn day. How many hours you work today, Op?
Slucky. So I work 12-hour shifts, night shifts.
He worked 12-hour shifts overnight, and it's only goddamn 24 hours in the day. He got to sleep at least, shit, we getting about 4 to 6 hours of sleep. So if you get 4 hours of sleep, that's 16. Then you got your children, you got your rib, you got errands you got to run. This kingdom is wicked. And it's designed to keep you unfocused on the things that we need to focus on. And that's all I'm saying. So while this kingdom is so wicked, with being so unfocused on the truth, being so unfocused on the word, guess what comes with that? Satan. Satan is going to have a heyday tempting us because this wicked world keeps us so busy and focused on other things. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to come together and fight this battle together and become brothers and sisters together and become family together. Like Christ said, when the disciples seen his own family trying to reach out and talk to him, and Christ said, man, look, who is my family? Those that do the will of my Father. And that's not saying that your family ain't nothing, but sometimes your family can be a distraction on what you need to be focusing on. You understand what I'm saying? So keep reading that. I'll read that again from the top.
Conference. The book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Verse 20. He has not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them.
So
Praise
that's the
the Lord.
so that's the point that I was making. As for the Lord's judgments, that's why we're in prison. We're more incarcerated than the Italian mafia. You understand? We get punished severely, way more than all these other nations combined because of our disobedience to God, our disobedience to the Most High. We get punished. So we don't have to worry about why they don't get punished because these laws, this book, this word wasn't given to them. It was given to us. It was given to us. So when we get caught breaking God's laws, or you get caught, you get a speeding ticket, you get a seatbelt ticket, you don't sit there and argue with the police officer. You just take your issue because you know this is their kingdom. When something unjust happens, remember the only way that we're going to receive any type of justice is through the Most High God. Your ways have to be pleased with the Lord. Your ways have to please the Lord in order for the Most High to fight the battle for you. So we can't expect the Most High God to fight our battles in court, to fight our battles against the oppressor, against being oppressed. We can't expect the Most High God to fight our battles as a nation if we're going against the Most High God, because then we become ops to the Lord. We can't be ops to the Lord and expect him to fight our battles. If you can look at it like that, because we clearly understand it with each other, you ain't going to expect the ops that you ain't going to expect the Crips to go link up with the Bloods. Why not? Because they ops. They don't get down with each other.
Concept.
You understand? It's the same thing with the Most High God when we're disobedient. He's looking at us like we're the ops. In Ecclesiasticus, in the Apocrypha, the Bible says, "For the Most High hateth sinners." If we are sinners, we're ops to the Lord, and we can't expect the Most High God to fight our battles if we don't obey the Most High God. And it's easy
Concept.
to forget because Satan and our oppressor, who is the devil, the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, he is going to have devices out here to keep us divided. Whether it's work, we already went over all this. Whether it's he shorts your damn check. Has anybody ever had a short check? Anybody had a short check? You get your check and it ain't what it's supposed to be. Then you got to go to HR and you got to go through all this BS just to get your check fixed. Or they might make you wait another week or two for the correct check and put it on the next check. Am I lying? And that can ruin your whole day. And now you just pissed off at everybody. And what we gonna do? We gonna go take it out. We gonna go take it out on another brother or sister. That's why brotherhood is important. That's why this truth is important. The Bible says he gave his word to Jacob. He ain't dealt with it. He ain't dealt so with all these other nations. He ain't get a word to them. So don't be expecting the oppressors or any of these other heathens to receive the same punishment as us for disobeying God. You understand on that? We got to make that clear. And I know it's easy to do a lot of comparison when something unjust happens, and we be like, well, damn, they let what's one of them? Yeah, Donald Trump can say he can go around and grab women by the private area, but P. Diddy go to jail and R. Kelly go to jail for 10, 15 years. That's because they the devil. And the Lord didn't give them the laws of the Bible. He gave it to us. Now it's good to compare the two to get people to understand that we're not the same nation. That's Tawab. That's Tawab. Ain't no sweat in that. So like, let me check the chat real quick on Facebook. And like I was saying, I don't gotta really read no more on the I ain't really got to read no more on the mafia. I just wanted to make the point clear or make it clear that the mafia, the Italian mafia, was started way before gangbanging. The Italian, way before you was a Crip of Colorwine, what, in the 90s? You was a Crip in the 90s? The Cosa Nostra was started in the 1860s. And brothers glorified that and made it, and we glorified it so much that we thought it was okay, or that gave us a reason to start our own gangs and to start taking out our own ops, which you don't have an op because we supposed to be brothers. You understand? We supposed to be brothers, man. All right. So with that being said, I want to move on. But like I said, there are different things. There are tons of different things that keep us divided, whether it's streets, whether it's colors, whether it's cities, whether it's the church or religion, any type of religion, whether it's we suffer from colorism. You know, I'm not dark enough, obviously, for some brothers to rock with me. They be like, hey, look, Elijah Shy, he a little too light. He a light bright. You know what I mean? You know, them light skin, he light skin. You know, them light skin cats kind of soft or whatever they be saying. Then you got some brothers that be like, look, I only want a light skinned woman. I don't like dark skinned females. You got some cats that think like that. When all sisters, blacks, Hispanics, or Native Indians, they all beautiful. They all bad. We got the baddest sisters in the world. Ain't no sister look better than no Eve. You understand? I say no sister don't look better than no Eve. No heathen, y'all know what I'm saying. And don't try to take me to counsel because y'all know what I'm saying. No heathen woman looks better than a sister, period. But we have to stop with the colorism and thinking that we're different simply because the color of our skin. No, we always came in all shades of brown. The Bible says Israel was like a speckled bird. You know, and I'm paraphrasing. So we got to come up out of that thought process because that is what is going to continue to keep us divided, and it'll continue to anger the Lord. And we all know what we just read in Zephaniah 2:1, what it says. It says his anger is going to come like a shaft. It's going to come quick. It's going to come quick. Like I was talking about the brother 4Extra. He was getting ready to have a fun 4th of July until he didn't. Until he didn't. And unfortunately, that happens to tons of brothers and sisters. Tons of brothers and sisters. If he would have never been celebrating 4th of July, which isn't his culture, it's not our culture to celebrate the 4th of July or any of these holidays. And it was tons of people who were unalive and tons of things that happened over the 4th of July weekend. Commander General Hanna talked about some of it on the Black Watch down there in Philly. What was it, 28 people? 28 people? Come on, man. Come on. We think that's better than serving the Lord. So all the gang banging, all the hating, all that's going to have to stop, man. All the jealousy we have towards each other when we all, products of oppression. Give me 1 John chapter 2 and 11, Baba Kasha. 1 John chapter 2 and 11. Because when you see all these podcasts, especially the No Jumper, and you see like how our oppressor, they only ask negative questions. And that always amazes me. And I know why, because, we don't look at our oppressor as a threat of any kind. We only see each other as a threat. But you notice a lot of these podcasts, you notice a lot of the social media, it's all negative things that tear us down. And then they have the nerve to say that, they have black fatigue when they stir the pot because they're devils. They're devils. So you go on any podcast, you go on any social media site where black people are talking, and it's like we have to talk negative about each other. And it's so crazy because you can talk negative about somebody you don't even know. You don't even know. Am I lying out? We hear a lot of rumors. We hear and see a lot of things that are simply on the internet, and then everybody will go bash that person instead of trying to figure out or understand what's really going on. And we shouldn't move like that as a nation because that's going to keep strife. That's going to keep negativity. That's going to keep us at odds. That's going to keep us, going against each other. And that's all I see on the podcast. And it's normally some middle-aged white man asking questions like, hey, so, when you got shot, what really happened? I mean, was it your ops? And he could sit there and tell on himself about him getting shot and him going to retaliate on his ops. And then what's the white man gonna go do on the podcast? What's he gonna do the next week? What's he gonna do at Calawan? Take a look and guess.
Gonna indict him, sir.
He damn for sure might get indicted. But what's he gonna do? The podcaster himself that's asking him the questions. Anybody that's watching that watches podcasts and they interview someone that has ops, what is the podcaster going to do the very next week, if not the same week? What they gonna do?
Khan, they're gonna use that as evidence against the person.
They can use them as evidence, but what is the podcaster gonna do? Like DJ Vlad, or Adam 22 or
Gonna
any of
snitch.
those podcasts, what are they going to do?
They're gonna snitch, sir.
Okay, they're already self-snitching. They're incriminating themselves, and them asking the questions to guys who just want to be famous or just want to, try to live out their rap career, their hip hop career. They're being a devil towards them because they just want to have views. They just want to keep their podcast to generating views to get money. But what is he going to do? Let me see if there's anybody online. What is he gonna do? The pot, get his sister a hand. Get his sister Shalom Nahar a hand. That's exactly what I was looking for. The water, sis. She said they gonna get their ops on. They gonna get their ops on the same platform. The same platform. And then he's gonna interview their ops.
Right.
Then they're going to continue to diss each other, and someone is going to get unalive, or someone is going to get beat up, or it's just going to keep the strife going. You understand? You ever seen like in the hood? Look, them niggas from the other side can't come to the hood, but you got some random Edomite jogging with no shirt on, walking a poodle in the hood. And no one questions him. No one questions the Vlads. No one questions the Adam 22s. No one questions them. But for some reason, we will question each other. You see the witchcraft behind that?
Con, sir.
I don't mean to call it witchcraft, but you know what I mean. It's bogus. And we will go on all these platforms. So it's like, okay. And then, look, this is what. Oh, the sister Salakia, sir, I'm taking you to counsel. Salakia says, you know I'm ready. Whatever I say, it's Salakia. I ain't mean to offend my sister, my beautiful sister Zara. You understand? Get a sister a hand. But what I'm saying is look, this is what, like, we suffer from the self-hate so much. We separate from we have self-hatred like on another level. Because this is what we'll do. If I got a problem with a collar wine, my niggas better have a problem with a collar wine. Am I saying something that, am I lying? Am I lying?
Sir.
So if I don't like you, my homies can't like you.
Con, sir.
But we can go on the same platform and get an interview. Why don't we be mad at the platform for interviewing the ops? Do we even think about that when we go on these interviews and we exploit ourselves and tell on ourselves? Why don't we never ask them, like, why you interviewed me talking about me getting shot by my ops, and then you turn around and interview the ops that shot me? That has to be studied. You got that verse?
Con, sir.
Read that.
The first book of John, chapter 2, verse 11. But he that hated his brother is in darkness and walketh in darkness and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness has blinded his eyes.
Mm, mm. Think about that. Think about that. That darkness has blinded our eyes. It's blinded us. We hate each other so much that we're blind to the fact that we have an oppressor interviewing our ops, glorifying the destruction of God's chosen race, God's chosen nation. When the real op is the one sitting there interviewing you, stirring up strife. That's the real op. But when we hate each other, the Bible says that we are in darkness and we are blind. And that blindness leads to our destruction. How the hell can you live life being blind? Now, this is how important brotherhood is to the Most High God. The real op is sitting there interviewing us. The real op is sitting there telling you to celebrate these holidays. The real ops names are on the damn street sign that we represent. Those street signs that we love in our neighborhood, a Calawan, are those black or white people?
Sir. They definitely white folks.
So we glorify their names, but you'll unalive your brother on the same street that's owned by our oppressor. Ain't that some shit for you? So like, ain't that something for you, Kalawan? We glorify the street names and we're separated by the street names, but we'll unalive each other in cold blood on those same street names that the oppressor owns. And we don't think nothing is wrong with that. Nothing. And the Bible says this, read it again, Baba Kashab.
But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness has blinded his eyes.
That darkness has blinded his eyes. We are blind to the fact that we have an enemy, and it's not each other. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have the same enemy. And not only did I break down how we're separated by gangs and streets and colors and religions, we're also separated by tribes. Because now you have the blacks and Hispanics dividing each other or attempting to divide each other even more because of all this ICE. You see how the oppressor works? Like we take a step forward, then they set a snare, they set a trap to try to divide us even more. And if you paying attention, it's always directed to the Lord's chosen people. Always. That gives you a clue that the Most High or the Most High is using the I.S.U.P.K to push this truth. Because I know, look, I know everybody probably doubt sometime, like, man, is this really, really? Don't let Satan do that to your mind. We really have to pay attention. You really have to be in these classes studying. You really have to be living your life with integrity so you can peep when Satan trying to push a play. You can peep when the devil's trying to push a play. If we ain't doing that, if we too busy focused on man, that nigga woo. Oh, that sister right there. If we too focused on that, if we too focused on division and not brotherhood, we lost the battle already.
Sir.
We lost the battle already because what does the Bible says? When you come to serve the Lord, finish it up for me, a Kalawan paraphrase.
When you come to serve the Lord.
When you come to serve the Lord, it's in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus.
Is it when you come to serve the Lord, you put on the full armor of the Most High?
I take that. the one I was looking for. When you come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. That's what I was looking for. But yeah, definitely you had, which is saying the same thing. You have to put on the full armor. You can't play football and forget your shoulder pads. You're not gonna be able to play. You're not gonna be protected good. So you have to put on the full armor of the Most High God so you can be aware of the things that are going to try to separate us, that are going to try to destroy us. You understand what I'm saying? Now go to 1 John 4:20. So the Bible has already said that if you hate your brother, meaning if the Crips hate the Bloods, the GDs hate the BDs, if this street hate this street, if this nigga hate this nigga, you walking in blindness. You're walking in darkness. You understand what I'm saying? You can't see if you hate. You're not going to see the bigger picture. You're going to think the enemy is your friend. Like all those cats that be on No Jumper, like Whack 100, 4 Extra, they think that Adam is their friend. But they look at everybody outside. What's the other brother from St. Louis? He's a nut. 706 Unk, 607 Unk. I don't know what y'all did to that brother in St. Louis.
That man went to jail and that man on drugs too.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we all, well, not we. When I mean we, I mean our nation. I know you and I aren't on drugs, but I mean, blacks and Hispanics are definitely on drugs. Definitely on drugs. I mean, he on drugs, but it seemed like he may be mixing a few drugs. I don't know. That brother's different. But what I'm saying is, all those cats that be on that platform, a lot of them hate each other. And he could sit right in the middle. And when I say he, I'm talking about the Edomite Adam can sit there and no one say anything to him, and he'll just stir up all of this stuff, which generates him tons of money, which makes him even more rich and famous, all from exploiting blacks and Hispanics. It's crazy. You got that out? Go ahead and read.
The first book of John, chapter 4, verse 20. If a man say, I love God and hated his brother, he is a liar.
Oh,
For he that loveth not his brother whom he has seen, how can he love God whom he has not seen?
What that sound like, a Kalawan? What that sound like to you? I'll break it down for me. As simple as you can.
How you gonna have loyalty? How you gonna have loyalty to somebody that you see every day and claim? How you not gonna have loyalty to somebody you see every day? Claim you got loyalty to somebody you ain't even met.
Okay, use the words that are in the precept and simplify it.
Khan. If you don't love your brother, you don't love God.
Get a brother a hand. If you don't love your brother, you don't love the Most High. It's as simple as that. If you don't love your brother, you don't love God. And that's what we have to understand. And that's what the Christian church, you Christians, you have done a terrible job of teaching blacks, Hispanics the importance of loving each other. Because our entire lives, we have been taught selfishness, not selflessness. We are selfish. We are selfish. And we are too focused on trying to please this world when we should be focused on trying to please the Most High. And one of the ways that we can please the Most High is forgiving each other, is loving each other. Oh yeah, it's gonna take some forgiveness. I know a lot of us, our hearts are hardened. A lot of our hearts are hardened. We grew up rough. We grew up never learning to forgive correctly. We forgive, but not correctly. Does that make sense? That makes sense to you all? We forgive, but not the correct way. Meaning, you know, what do we say when we Christians? I'm just gonna love you from a distance. No, you still hate that nigga. You still hate that nigga. Am I lying?
Sir.
And how do we know you still hate that nigga? You ain't talked to that nigga all year long. As soon as y'all get together on Thanksgiving, what happened? Somebody's head gets smashed with a goddamn bottle. Your head gets smashed with a bottle. Am I lying?
Sir.
They rumbling. They supposed to be having Thanksgiving, talking about everything that they thankful for. Instead, they cracking each other on the head with bottles. The whole family getting busy. That's because we never learned how to forgive correctly. We never learned how to deal with situations correctly. And this is why brotherhood is so important. That's why. Without the laws of God, we will never know how to do anything correctly. Because why? We're going to lean on our own understanding. We're going to lean on our own heart. We're going to try to fix and patch things up the way that we know how. But that's why the Lord gave us laws. It's harder to follow instructions when they're written for blacks and Hispanics. It's hard for us to follow instructions. It's easy for us to give in to what we feel is right. Because when you teach the laws are done away with, when you teach lawlessness, you just do whatever the hell you want to do. You just do whatever the hell you want to do, and everything gonna be all right. But there's a way to do things that are correctly. And loving your brother and forgiveness, what Christ was trying to teach the nation, that's what it's going to take. So the Crips are going to have to forgive the Bloods. We know, we understand in I.S.U.P.K because we're men. We are men. Look, Kalawan, they say confession is good for the soul. It's still niggas I see, I still got to be like, shit. And forgive me, I might get checked. Officer Malak hear me talking like this, but hey, I'm just letting you know. But that's something that I have worked on. Somebody tell me, look, I'm just chopping it up. Hey, bro, where you from? Oh, man, I'm from such and such. Look, almost every time, it's like my spider sense is singling. It's telling me, look, and then I have to battle that demon and be like, damn, this brother's being oppressed like I am. This brother went through the same thing that I went through. I can't have that hatred in my heart because then I start walking in darkness and I'm supposed to be walking in light. I'm supposed to be following the Most High God. Christianity doesn't teach you that. They teach you to love from a distance. They teach you, God knows your heart. They teach you, the exact opposite of what the Bible says. So no wonder all Christians walk in darkness because they don't know how to find the light. They don't even know where to start. When we talking about brotherhood, you have to forgive. You have to look at another black and Hispanic and be like, you know what? I see what Christ was saying. I see how a man that never sinned his entire life laid down his life for a nation of sinners. What if Christ thought like that, Kalawan? What if Christ thought like you and I prior to coming into this truth? What would we live for? What future would we have? Christianity? It wouldn't even be no Christianity. So what the hell would we be doing? Dying. It would just be nothing but death. So that's why you have to follow the examples of Yahushua. If Yahushua could die for an entire nation that sinned, you can forgive your brother for owing you that damn $20 for 10 years ago. You can forgive your brother who shot you. I know that sounds rough, but Christ did it. Christ did it. He didn't shoot you or he didn't get shot, but he died so that both of you could live. That is brotherhood in perfection. And the Most High God calls for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to perfect brotherhood, because it ain't going to be easy. I think about, look, this is how I be thinking about it, Kalawan. I ain't going to lie. Before I be trying to harden my heart with a brother or sister, I think about, damn, it's easier just to forgive this brother or this sister and get over it. Imagine if you had to go on that cross. Imagine if that was you. Which would you rather do? Which would you rather do?
I doubt if I could. I know that I wouldn't be able to take that burden.
And he died so you wouldn't have to.
He definitely was the right man for the job.
But this is the thing. Yahushua showed us how to live our life. And if we continue to sin, you say his name in vain. That's vanity. For us to continue to sin and try to represent Yahushua, and that's the entire doctrine of Christianity. They like to see him get beat and whipped. Hell, they wear the instrument around their neck that killed them, that he was hung on. You understand? It's just wickedness. It's just wickedness. But was that verse finished?
Colonel Khan, sir, it was just verse 21 after that.
What did 21 say?
Verse 21, and this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth God love his brother also.
So he that loveth the Most High loveth his brother also, just like a Kalawan the brother brought out. You can't love God and hate your brother. It's impossible. It's impossible. So the moment a Christian say that they love God, and then they turn around and they talk crap about somebody else and talk about how much they hate somebody else, you know that person's a liar. You know that person's a liar. They don't even like the person right there. How you gonna love God whom you never saw before, and you hate the person right there in front of you? How that work? How that work? That's like saying, I love these shoes, and the package was never delivered from Amazon. The package was never delivered from Amazon, and you talking about, I love these shoes. No, you're carnal. You want that package. You want to see that package. In order to love that package, you have to see it. It's right there with you. You're not going to just say you love the package, and you ain't never saw it. You ain't never put the shoes on. You ain't never worn. That's how Christians think, because they carnal.
Carnal concept.
They carnal. The Lord knows. Look, you can't. You couldn't possibly love me if you don't love that brother right there. And that's just what it is. So now, going back to like just the 4 extra real quick. Going back to like the 4 extra real quick. If you notice in a lot of them podcasts, brothers just go back and forth, da 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 da, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and that's what generates and makes money for the podcasters. You understand? Whether it's true or not, a lot of times they just be talking. They just be talking. You don't know what the hell they talking about. But even if it's a lie, long as it's negative, it's going to generate money, whether it's true or not. And we have to come up out of that spirit because that destroys brotherhood. I know if somebody was to lie on me and put a lie out there about me, I wouldn't be dealing with them. Like, you said what? You said I did what? What? When we're already destroyed as a nation. See, these are just more clever ways to keep us divided. It's just more clever ways to keep us divided, dog. And we're gonna have to realize this. So I want you to go to where I want you to go. And I don't know if I'm having enough time. We can't be haters neither, because a lot of brothers be haters. Like King Saul. King Saul was a hater. King Saul was hating on David because of his accomplishments. You can't hate a brother because he accomplished something neither. And I'm gonna try to bring that out. But go to Leviticus chapter 19, verse 16. Baba Kashot, real quick. You can't be a hater. And you can't be going around just saying what the hell you want to say neither. That's not brotherly. That's living your life in the darkness. You got
So
that
like
out?
19 and 16, sir.
Con, Leviticus. Go ahead and read.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Most High.
Read it again.
Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people,
Don't
neither
be
shalt
going up
thou
and down as a talebearer, going running around, ripping and running and gossiping, talking about other people all day, telling everybody business. A Kalawine, yeah, he got 6 toes on 1 foot. The brother ain't got 6 toes. Don't take me to counsel why. But what I'm saying is don't be going up and down as a tail. And in the 6 toe, he painted pink. Look, don't go up and down slandering and being a talebearer, telling everybody business. Why are you telling everybody business? Why are you slandering people? You making people want to hate you. You making people want to hate you. Then we got to sit up here and go to council all because You don't know how to watch your goddamn mouth. Salakia. Watch your mouth. That's all you gotta do. Watch your mouth. And if you have a problem with a person, go talk to the person. That's how you keep the issues out of Israel. That's how you keep the issues out. Just go to the person, he and me alone, and talk. Civilize. You know, you can talk to a person civilized. Somebody asks you a question, you ready to blow up. Ah, bitch ass nigga. Blah, 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 blah. Like, damn. You know, I know we was raised by what General Muhammad say, alley cats and possums. But in this school, you will learn to be civilized. You will learn to have some discipline. You will learn to confront a person like a human being. Not like you talking to your goddamn pit bull when it ripped open the trash. We are human beings. It's okay to be civilized. Calm down. Chill out. Talk. But you ain't got to go around telling everybody business, slandering people, and then when word get back around, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. No, you do know what we talking about. Now the problem is because you talking too damn much. You got to watch your mouth. Read it again,
Verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Most High.
Look, because a lot of times rumors and you not watching your mouth, they can get somebody killed, and then that's gonna be on you. You going back and forth. What they say, Carlo, I'm playing the middleman like Adam 22. Just imagine you going around being slandering, talebearing everybody business, and then once these two meet up or click or see each other, lock eyes, they ready to unalive each other. All because of the rumors, all because of the talebearing. Because that's not brotherly. Like, man, wait till I see this sucker, man. I can't wait to see this nigga, man. I'm gonna slide on him and yeah, it's gonna be like that. That's how we think in the world. But that's not the way we're supposed to be thinking. Because that is what destroys the lives of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. You understand? Go to Proverbs chapter 10 and start at verse 18. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 18, 18 and 19. Like I said, this is things that you're not gonna learn in the church. You're not gonna hear this in the church because they argue in the church. Am I lying? Do they argue and fight in the church of Calawan?
Sir.
They argue and fight in the damn church. They slandering in the church. You grew up in the church. I grew up in the church, and I'm pretty sure a lot of brothers and sisters grew up in the church. Don't they tell each other business in the church all day?
Sir.
Don't they gossip and slander in the church all day?
Sir.
So what are we talking about? So how is the church the solution to bringing blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians together? How is the Christian church the solution to making it to the kingdom of heaven? How? When they go against everything that the kingdom of heaven stands for. The Bible says, rehearse the righteous acts. I don't see them rehearsing anything righteous in the Christian church. Do you, Akalawan?
Sir.
Me neither. Go ahead and read that verse.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 18. He that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth a slander is a fool. Verse 19. In the multitude of words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise.
So he that refraineth his lips is wise. All right, somebody might piss you off, right? You can go on this podcast and be like, man, you know, yeah, whatever, bro. He woo, woo, woo. But all that bickering back and forth, going back and forth, that just makes the situation worse. That makes the situation worse. Read it again. Start at verse 18, Baba Kishah.
Verse 18, he that hideth hatred with lying lips, and
He
he
that
that
hideth hatred with lying lips. You telling all these lies on somebody, oh, well, you know, woo, woo, woo. And it's not even true. You hiding your hatred with lying lips. Oh, well, you know, we cool. I mean, you know, but in reality, you're not cool with them. You're not cool with her. You being passive. You being passive. You're not being honest, and you're not being a brother. Keep reading.
he that uttereth a slander is a fool.
He
19,
that uttereth a slander is a fool. When you go around slandering somebody's name, when you going around telling somebody business and talking bad about somebody, the Bible says that you are a fool. You don't have wisdom, you don't have understanding, you don't have any knowledge, because your words may come back to bite you in your behind. Keep reading.
19, in the multitude of words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise.
The one that refrained his lips is wise. And the multitude of all them words, all that talking you doing, that's where sin lay. Sin lies there. But you can mute your mic. I hear some back. Mute your mic.
Salakia, sir, my job, my slave is calling me.
Okay. We're about to wrap it up. You can do all that talk and slander and hate your brother, but just remember this before we get out of here, that the Bible says that if you hate your brother, you hate God. And that's the simplest way that I can get people to understand, get brothers and sisters to understand that, like, we have to forgive each other. We have to watch our mouths, and we got to come together. And we can't let all these different devices in the world to continue to allow us to be separated, man. You understand? So I just want to shout out and big up the I.S.U.P.K. up under Commander General Yohana, because this is the only place that you can find brothers that were Crips, Bloods, GDs, BDs, from every form of life, all 12 tribes, and we get along just fine. And with that, I want to say shalom, Yabba Shem Katham to the brothers, shalom, Yahweh Shema Elatah Shem Yahweh Shah to the sisters, shalom.
Wow.